Yo, yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Payoff Pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm Kyle. That's Mike. Back to recap and break down Sunday's slate and look forward to Monday's 13 games.
Yep, once again, 13 games on a Monday, which is unusual, but that's just because of the All-Star break. So it'll be fun, I think. I'm ready to get back into it. I didn't get a chance to really play much today, but that's the usual for me. How'd you fare?
I did wonderful. I finished 7th
Nice.
in a GPP and I finished 32nd in a GPP. Turned $240 into 703. So
Wow, really snowballing there, man. That's awesome.
facts. It was a nice turnaround. Helps me pay rent for the next month. So
Yeah, I feel it.
looking good, man. Looking good. I'm happy. Um, Bro, Quintana and Garcia. I played those two together. I hit on 4 of my 5 pitchers today. I was pretty ecstatic. I had Jose Quintana, Matt Garza. Garza didn't do great. Mike Fiers, Jaime Garcia, and Rich Hill.
Yeah, then you definitely did well.
That's the reason I love DraftKings, man. I was talking to Poho about this earlier on Skype, and he was like, why do you like DraftKings so much now? And it's all because I can separate myself with the pitching. Nobody was on either guy, but if you look at the stats, the two lineups that struck out the most. So I actually have that on the sheets. If you look at the pitcher dashboard, I have opposing lineup K percentage. The two lineups that struck out the most were the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Baltimore Orioles. And of course, if you look at their road splits as well, or their splits, Arizona on the road strikes out 30% of the time, and Baltimore at home versus lefty strikes out 25. So everything lined up. The prices were too cheap. It allowed me to get all the stacks I wanted, and it worked out well for me.
Yeah, I think Mike Fiers is pretty much letting Houston know that they don't need another pitcher. They got Mike Fiers. Who needs another pitcher when you got him? You know?
Telling you, man, he's turned it around.
He has. He really has. He is making a believer out of me slowly but surely. Speaking of which, here we are. The ace of the day, Jose Quintana, in some Northside blue. Tough to find that picture, by the way, but we got it done.
Yeah, man, he brought it home. I had over almost 70 DraftKings points between my two pitchers. On DraftKings, if you can get 60, 70 points, you don't need much from your bats to cash. And
Doesn't even matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can just pick and choose who you want at that point. That's the goal right there, is getting them 1 and 2. You get 1 and 2 on this slide here on your DraftKings lineup, you are set up for greatness. And sure enough, it paid off today for you, man. I'm envious.
Yeah, man,
I should have played.
I hope to keep it rolling. If you guys weren't on that lock show this morning, it was fire. I made it public too because we didn't do a show last night. So hopefully you guys
Right.
stayed in and tuned in because it was great. So, but yeah, Jose Quintana, ace of the day. Mike Fiers bringing up number 2. Garcia, Roark, and Rich Hill.
Bit of a bounce back for Roark. Jaime Garcia does play well at home, so I can see it. I get envious because on these Sunday, because I'm relatively good at these shorter slates, and I can't work. I got work, so I don't like to play because I'm not really around right before lock to see lineups and get it all done. So it's tough for me to look at this.
Yeah. And then, man, if I played Daniel Murphy instead of Jose Altuve, which I had it in line, and I was like, you know what, Altuve fits this Houston stack I was running with. Altuve salvaged, no doubt about it. I mean, he did okay.
Right.
He definitely got me higher up than I was. But if I play Murphy over Altuve, I'm taking down first in both those GPPs.
Wow. Well,
But such is life, man.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, trust the process, right? I mean, you were that close. I mean,
Well, that's what I've been
two
at.
guys you paid up for. You could have easily swapped those two. So,
Yeah. And
um,
the awesome part is I wasn't even the only one today. So Jim Mayer, I believe is his name in Slack.
yeah,
Dude
definitely.
came in. He's like, I tied second in this GPP. He's like, before this, I couldn't even cash in a free roll, and now, I'm doing this. And he played Fires, Havoc, one of our regulars in
Yeah.
there. He won a 3-man
Yeah.
tournament for $750, so that was awesome.
What?
So
Nice.
Dudes are cashing all over, man.
Yeah, I mean Murphy. That's he actually leads the majors in 5 RBI games. That's the 4th time this season.
Wow.
Give me 1 second. I got this plug I'm using is not working, so I'll be right back.
Cool.
I don't want to die on you.
All right, well, I'll start with Washington-Cincy. This is the all-day game. I don't recommend playing it. I don't ever play all-day slates, but if you wanted to, I don't think Steven Strasburg is the play, and Scott Feldman's really good at home, so I wouldn't go there either. This actually would end up being a game fade for me. I'm definitely not stacking against Strasburg, and I'm not going to stack against Feldman. So my advice for you is don't play this slate, and just skip this altogether. Milwaukee-Pittsburgh, Brent Suter is one of my pitchers already tomorrow. I have him locked in, no doubt about it. I'm actually looking for my SP1 right now. I'm debating between a couple guys, but Brent Suter is locked in as that SP2. Way too cheap on both sites, 62 on DraftKings, 66 on FanDuel. No way I don't play him tomorrow. Pittsburgh, I know they don't strike out a ton. In fact, they don't strike out much at all, but they just don't do well at home versus lefties. They don't hit the ball hard. 50% of the balls they hit are ground balls, so I like that with a pitcher that does a good job of keeping the ball on the ground. So Brent Suter is a lock for me at SP2 tomorrow. And then I would look at some Brewer bats, namely the lefties, but I don't think I stack here either. They don't make my top 5 stacks.
Yeah, Cool hasn't been very cool this year, especially at home. I don't know why, just not pitching well. Sorry, just pull it audible real quick, but we're good. I think Suter has been very surprising. I mean, those 2 starts in the majors this year have turned a lot of heads. Obviously, you see a lot of green there. But, I mean, this guy is very, like, Jason Vargas-esque. His fastball tops out at 86 miles an hour. He had 29 starts in AAA in his career. So, it wasn't like he was destroying the minors and they couldn't wait to get him to the big leagues, So, I'm curious. His numbers were pretty good in AAA, and he played in Colorado Springs. So, pretty good in Colorado Springs is probably, really good other places. But I mean, he's 27. He was a late round pick, so I'm not 100% sold. I mean, he's got a great 2-start week if you're playing season long. He gets the Phillies next start, so I think you definitely got to look at him with those 2 starts at Pittsburgh, at Philadelphia, but. On this slate of pitchers, I think he's definitely in play for his price.
Yeah, I got him locked in SP2. Looking at Texas and Baltimore, definitely Texas stack is in play tomorrow. Nomar Mazara, Shin-Soo Choo, Adrian Beltre, Rougned Odor. You can go up and down this lineup against Chris Tillman, who's not been good at all this year in any situation whatsoever. The one thing I do have is Texas is not the same team on the road, but I think this is a different situation. So I do look to stack Texas. And then I'm not stacking Baltimore against Andrew Cashner. He just doesn't get blown up. He limits damage a ton.
Yeah, he just went out and had a great start, I think, at home versus Boston.
Yep.
There's no reason he can't. Innings. Yeah, he'll get through it. He's not a great DFS pitcher, but, again, not a guy we stack against, kind of like Martin Perez with them. Yep. He can go out and have a good game, though, so you have to kind of look at him on this pitching slate, I think, a little bit. But Baltimore really – a team that's kind of heating up a bit, not a guy I look at. And then, who is it? Tillman. Yeah. His stats are pretty much bleeding red at this point. So definitely like some Texas bats.
Now here's a guy I think that's going to get some sideways looks at me. Is Tom Kohler. I don't think people are going to pitch him because he hasn't been great, man. But his strikeouts are up a little bit. And we know Philadelphia strikes out a shitload. Away versus righties, they strike out 25% of the time. It's their worst split. They don't hit home runs. Miami is definitely more of a pitcher's park than hitter's park. So Tom Kohler for his price at $5,900 and $57 on FanDuel definitely should get some consideration. And I have him as one of my top 3 pitchers tomorrow.
It's purely a matchup play, I think.
Yep.
Against any other team, it's really not even in play. And I think it even is more of a play on this slate because we're going to talk about these pitchers. There's not many aces, if not any at all. So, the toilet. I think. You gotta keep in mind. I mean, this pitching staff's not great, and he's been a guy that's been up and down all season, in and out of the bullpen all season. So, pitching staff is not great. This guy obviously is not great either. It's purely a matchup play, in my opinion. Eichhoff. You got to look at lefties versus him. Justin Bour in play. Kristen Yelich. So.
Yeah. not playing Eichhoff either. But I agree. I don't think I stack Miami, but I can get with you on the one-offs. St. Louis,
Yeah.
New York. This is one of my favorite stacks of the day, and that's the St. Louis Cardinals. I can get behind some Mets as well against Wainwright. Possible game stack here, but I love the Cardinals, man. I love Matt Carpenter. I love Dexter Fowler. I love Gorko. Yadier Molina is way too cheap on both sites. And Paul DeJong continues to stay cheap on both sites. 26 on FanDuel, 33 on DraftKings. Love a Cardinal stack.
I've been playing a lot of Cardinals recently, man. Since the break, even before the break, I was playing some Cardinals.
They've been hot.
They just don't get a lot of love, and I like that, and especially my Mets team that really doesn't have it put together right now. Who knows what they're going to be doing at the deadline? Wheeler, having a very up and down season. He just started throwing his slider again. Seems to be like getting back into his rhythm at the major league level, and he's I don't know. I think Wainwright is kind of in play. It's kind of a scary proposition, just because of what he's been doing and what the Mets have been up and down as well. So
I feel like he's
I definitely see the St. Louis. Yeah, a lot of these pitchers I think are more expensive than they should be. Just trying to compete in a sense.
We got Marcus Stroman and Eduardo Rodriguez. Eduardo's coming off the DL, had a really good AAA start, went 94 pitches. So I don't think there's a pitch concern there, or pitch count concern. Obviously, Boston off of a doubleheader and the 16-inning game the night before. I'd imagine he gets a little longer leash than normal because of that bullpen. So I kind of like him. I looked at him. I currently have him ranked number 4 for me. Toronto waivers lefties is not very good. They don't hit a lot of fly balls or home runs. They hit a lot of ground balls, and they don't have a lot of power in general. 135 ISO on the road versus lefties. So, and Toronto's just not playing well either. So I like Eduardo Rodriguez in this spot tomorrow. He has K upside. As long as there's no news that comes out about amount of pitch count, I look at him as an option.
Yeah, Doug Fister was supposed to get this start, but they had to play him in that late inning game.
Yep,
so they're bringing up Rodriguez in a little early. I did look that up because I was curious about the bullpen. It seems that they didn't really waste their bullpen too much. I don't know if Kimbrel will be available in this game, but it doesn't look like in this doubleheader they really spent their bullpen. They pitched some really young guy who had like 2 appearances in the first game. So maybe not. We'll see. But they're definitely happy to have Eddie back, I think. This is just a staff full of lefties that can get swing and miss stuff. And, they hit their bombs today. That's what Toronto's doing. They're hitting their bombs. So it does kind of scare me a little bit. So I'm with you. I don't know how much I want to run to play Rodriguez tomorrow. But then Stroman, I mean, didn't he leave his last start with the blister, or was that 2 starts ago?
That was 2 starts ago. I'm not on Stroman. There's just no K upside in him, along with Boston. Yeah.
His price is just always too much for, he's a great pitcher and all, but for DFS, it's just,
I don't like
it's always just a little too much. Yeah, and Boston, like you said, not the spot.
Chicago is my number 1 stack of the day.
Yeah.
What's up, Edwin? No doubt about it. They passed all my filter tests on the dashboard, so going to load up on Chicago. Ian Happ, Kyle Schwarber, Wilson Contreras, Jason Hayward going back to Atlanta. Chris Bryant. I can go anywhere up and down this lineup. If Ben Zobrist leads off, I can go there too. You can go 5 deep on Chicago. Load up against Tehran at home with the lefties. No, nothing.
Yeah, I have a feeling positive regression is coming in waves for this team. For Chris Bryant in particular, I just feel like there's like a 12 home run month coming from him. Julio Tehran at home this season has given up 13 home runs in his 9 starts, and he has an ERA a little over 7.5 at home. He has just been very, very, very bad in this ballpark, and the Cubs team, he is facing them at the wrong time, so I 100% agree. This is where you're going to go. You're going to have the money to do whatever you want with your pitching.
Yep.
Makes a lot of sense. Everything kind of works out. You just got to pick the right guys at this point.
Yeah. I don't even care if the Cubs are chalk. They probably will be, but don't. Here, I was talking to one of the guys today, and we were talking about chalk and this and that, and I was like, you know what, man, I stopped caring about chalk because it gets me off of good plays thinking of ownership. And so at this point, I just don't even care about chalk because especially on DraftKings where you can differentiate with pitchers like I did today with Quintana and Garcia, I could care less if Houston was 100% owned and they went off because my pitchers were going to separate me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you have to realize, I mean, when you're playing football DFS, you're playing basketball DFS, the number of players on each team is half as much.
Yep.
The amount of players that you can put in your lineup is half as much. So baseball DFS, when you're coming to chalk, if you are valuing that a lot, you probably are valuing it too much. Maybe it's worth a step back to maybe smooth out the process for you. So
I agree.
definitely needs to be considered, but
And
maybe not to the extent we do with other sports.
There's two guys on the Braves that I look at, and it's Dansby Swanson and Matt Kemp. Actually, Brendan Phillips has been really hot as well. So, three potential guys. They are cheap, but I don't go full Brave stack tomorrow. But I do look at those three guys, the righties versus Lester.
Yeah, didn't they just sweep? Who did they just sweep? Somebody.
Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks, exactly. So this team is hot. So
ass on the road.
yeah, Lester just came off. I think he gave up like 10 earned in the first inning last game or something crazy like that. So
it was 4
Lester
earned,
comes into the
10
second.
runs.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
10 runs, right? So, I mean, Lester's coming into the second highest price guy. I just don't see it in this ballpark, man.
Yeah.
There's no reason to handicap. Everybody's going to be able to pay up for bats. Why handicap yourself by paying a Lester?
Agree, 100%. New York and Minnesota, Brian Mitchell and Alberto Mejia. I am not playing Yankees tomorrow. Not only do they struggle versus lefties on the road, but they've played 3 games in 2 days. One of those, they've essentially played 4 games in 2 days with that 16-inning game. I'm good, man. No way. If you want to stream Mejia, I don't think you have to, but I don't hate the play, honestly, because I just think that I don't see any upside in the Yankees tomorrow. Now, of course, that means they'll go off. So, of course.
Yeah.
But
I think Mejia's in play. He's been a very consistent, like mid to high teens scorer on DraftKings, and he gets a pretty solid matchup as a lefty, like you said, on the road versus lefties. Yep. The Yankees have been struggling. I definitely agree. There's some merit into what you were saying. I mean, this team as a whole isn't playing well at all right now either. So, Brian Mitchell, on the other hand, I think this is his first start this season. He's done some work out of the bullpen for them. They had high hopes for him coming into last season. They actually thought of him as their 5th starter coming out of spring training, but he actually got hurt during spring training 2016 and then missed the whole season. He competed with Jordan Montgomery to get that 5th starter, him and Luis Sessa, and didn't really get it. So he makes this spot start. The Yankees got kind of high hopes for him, especially with Pineda going down. So we'll see what happens if he steps up tomorrow. It could be an interesting play.
Yeah, true. Houston and Seattle. So this is where I'm debating on my SP1, and I think it's going to be McCullers right now. I have him locked in. I just see more upside in him than any of the other pay-up options, and pairing him with Suter or Kohler allows me to get any bat I want anyway. So I'm just going to take that safe play. And then I'm not going to stack Houston tomorrow. I have 0 Houston bats in my lineup. Ariel Miranda is not a bad pitcher, and Houston's worst split is at home versus lefties. They hit the ball only 27% of the time. 50% of the balls they hit are ground balls. And even if those ground balls find the hole, that's not DFS worthy, right? I want home runs, I want doubles, I want triples, I want RBIs, and singles and RBIs are not going to get it for me, and not for their price. So, if Houston goes off, then all the more power to them. They very well could. They hit lefties well overall, but at home, where I like to split up the splits, I'm just not going to buy into it. And Ariel Miranda, like I said, he's not a terrible pitcher. So
he's been bad on the road. There's no doubt about it. This is definitely not a pitcher's park. So I just don't see the merit in playing him. McCullers is seeming like a free play, isn't it? I mean, he really is the only guy ace worthy on the slate. He leads the majors in ground ball percentage and fly ball percentage in a good way, which makes sense, right? He actually also leads the league in hard contact rate percentage. Surprising to me. He is coming off probably his worst start in Toronto. Gave up 5 earned on 9 hits. I mean, he is historically better at home, and he's been much better at home this season. You look at that, a 205 batting average at home this season. So, yeah, keeps the ball on the ground, has legitimate K upside. He reduces hard contact. Seattle, away versus righties, is middle of the pack as hard contact, and the meat of their order is hot right now. So there is, I guess, that. But I just have a feeling McCullers is going to have a lot of ownership, and you could be up and down with the ship with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Is if he gets a lot of ownership, he's not going to hurt you. And
Exactly.
I think if you can differentiate yourself with someone like, I guarantee you Kohler will get no ownership tomorrow. So there you go. There's a differentiator right there. I still don't think Brent Suter gets a ton of ownership. He's a pay down option. And so, like I said, if you're on DraftKings, differentiate with your SP2 and differentiate with your bets. It's easy to do. So I don't worry about the chalk. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I just think it's a free play. I don't see anybody at his level as a pitcher on this entire slate.
Agree.
So
Agree.
I am a little bit worried again with the meat of the order being so hot, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Detroit and Kansas City. Detroit is definitely much better versus lefties than they are versus righties, but they are a better home team than they are road team. So that does factor in here. Jason Vargas I looked at as a potential option. You get him at a depressed-ish price. I just don't see enough upside here. Detroit does hit lefties hard. And I just don't know that there's K upside. And so unless Vargas is going to go 7, 8 innings, with his maybe 5, 6 Ks at most, I just don't see a ton of upside. And so I don't view it as a good play. Now, he could go out, and again, it's DFS, so anything can happen. But if I'm looking strictly at numbers, I just don't see Vargas as that standout guy today.
Yeah. I mean, same, like I said, Suter is pretty much Vargas when it comes to speed. Fastball velocity average around 86. He's got that changeup he throws more than any other pitch. He is 7-1 at home with a 1.84 ERA and a WHIP just over 1. So he's played very well at home. But like you said, his strikeout high over the last 10 starts is 6. I mean, he doesn't really get there for you as a DFS play. Now, I am concerned about JD Martinez, who's just crushing lefties this year.
500 average in 42 plate appearances. 500.
Yeah. There you go. Hard contact at 50%. WOBA of 700 if I'm reading that correctly. The dude is just destroying left-handed bats. So anytime he faces a lefty, he is in play, especially at 4,100, man. That is a very cheap play.
Yeah.
I think you have to look at him
and Upton
tomorrow.
as a 2-man would be good. Castellanos has been hitting lefties as well. Sounds weird.
And then I like the prices of Kansas City, man. Again, I think Zimmerman, you can definitely stream against him, and I don't think people will. I don't know, people still name recognize? I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like
Kansas City won't be high owned tomorrow. They never are. They're just not a sexy team.
No.
Really, I mean, they're not. And I like Moose. I like Perez. I like Hosmer. Merrifield's still cheap. Yeah. So I'm with you 100%, man. 100, Mike. 100.
Do it.
San Diego and Colorado. Yo, I pulled this stat last time. So Colorado has had 7 home openers this year. 7. Only 2 of those home openers has gone over the Vegas implied total. It's typically 11 to 12 runs. That's typically what Vegas implies for a game in Colorado. It doesn't usually fluctuate too much. But 5 of 7 home openers, meaning not series, but home openers, which is a homestand for Colorado, the first game goes under. And more than 55% of Colorado's games this year at home have gone under the Vegas total. So it's just worth noting. I never stack Colorado on their first game of the homestand, and I just haven't found myself really stacking them much at all this year.
Yeah, and now you got 2 guys that keep the ball on the ground, so I don't see how this game goes over. Because it will be inflated, and again, Perdomo and Marquez, they both keep the ball on the ground. They both kind of pitch to contact. Perdomo's much better at home, obviously. And this is the worst ballpark shift you could possibly have from San Diego to Colorado. So, for that reason, I still think San Diego's players are underpriced. They don't seem to be inflated that much. So, great ballpark shift. I think you can definitely look there. Perdomo, again, like I said, he keeps the ball on the ground. But the top of this order is hot. I mean, these top 3 guys, I think you can definitely still look at them.
Blackman and
you're going to pay ups, but...
Yeah, Blackman and Arenado are a 2-man stack I would do. Other than that, I'm not going there.
I mean, LeMahieu had 4 doubles today, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but he's a much better player versus versus lefties. He's like legit the poster child of splits. I'm not even joking, dude. His lefty splits, he literally, I think his average versus lefties is over 400. And his ISO, I believe, is over 200, and yet his ISO versus righties is .055. He's just literally the poster child of splits.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I just still think the expensive guys are all in play tomorrow. It really is. You're going to be able to pay for it. So I just don't think it's a bad spot
I feel you.
for the Coors teams.
Tampa Bay, Oakland. I like a Tampa stack tomorrow. I'm not going to stack Oakland, but I'm not pitching Odorizzi, that's for sure. I think you could look at Oakland if you really wanted to. I just think there's better stacks. I don't make my top five. But I love Dickerson. I love Morrison. I love Souza Jr., Brad Miller. If Wilson Ramos plays, I can go there too. So I think a lot of Tampa's in play against Gossett.
Yeah, I think Ramos.
He's
I
day-to-day
don't know
with
if
a
he's.
hamstring. I don't
Was
know if
that just a rest or is that a tweak? I don't know.
He had a little hamstring, I guess, tweak. He sat out 2 days in a row, so he might play tomorrow, but it's up in the air.
Okay. Yeah, let's see. I think. Yeah, I mean, on this slate, I think Odorizzi does have some K upside in this matchup. I think purely a matchup play, like we talked about with Kohler.
Yep.
Odorizzi has had his fair share of good DFS games, so I could see it on the slate if you would want to go there. Again, I'm not really running at that play.
Yeah, I just don't see the upside in it. Oakland does hit the best at home versus righties, right? Their splits. They have the most power at home versus righties. It's not even close. They hold at 224
Yeah.
ISO. So it just.
He's not going to shut him out, that's for sure.
Exactly.
But he could get some Ks.
He can. There's K upside, yeah, but I think there's better plays personally. And then
Fair enough.
Finally,
Yeah.
Cleveland and San Francisco. Tomlin, I think, is a stream spot as well, just from the pure standpoint of it's the ultimate pitcher's park, and Giants are the ultimate ass team of the league. So
They have the fewest home runs.
there's almost no K upside here. Tomlin doesn't strike guys out, and San Francisco doesn't strike out. So that's the only issue. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna take back what I said. Tomlin, I'm not gonna play. His price is way too high. 8K on DraftKings and 7K on FanDuel. Take away exactly what I just said. The fact that there's no K upside, I don't care if it's a pitcher's park. If he goes 7 innings and gets 3 Ks, he's not worth 8K or 7.6. So, never mind.
I think this is a worthy comparison. Would you rather play Vargas versus Detroit or Tomlin versus San Francisco? Little K upside.
I would play Tomlin, just for the park and the team. Detroit kills lefties.
There you go. I think I agree with you there. If I'm going to play a guy like that, I'd just rather pay down to Suter. He's just another guy that I think has a pretty good matchup in a good ballpark. Doesn't really strike people out, but, might as well ride it for a cheap guy.
100.
So.
Yep. So.
Yeah, I think Matt Moore, though, definitely attackable. This team is probably better versus righties, but still, I think, Lindor is back doing what he's doing. I don't know. I could see Cleveland tomorrow being sneaky in this park.
Yeah, they're not going to get ownership in this park, that's for sure. And they're definitely better versus righties than lefties. So.
I don't know. I like it. Tomlin does give up bombs, but again, this team doesn't hit them. So we'll see. I don't know. I haven't really played a giant put a giant in my lineup in quite a while.
Yeah, don't do that. That's a bad idea.
I'd be cool with just not ever doing that. I think it's probably a winning strategy just to avoid that team like they don't exist ever.
It's a waste of salary space, I'm telling you, man. I watch them enough. So yeah, man, the 5 guys we're on, like I said, man, Brent Suter is my SP2 lock. I promise you I'll have him in my lineup tomorrow. If he gets scratched, I'm still fucking playing him.
Have you watched him play? I haven't seen him play, but I'm curious because of this. 86 mile an hour fastball. There's nothing about it that's exciting to me, but he's been getting it done.
I like it, man. I've seen him pitch. I saw him pitch the Orioles game, and I liked it. So, granted, it is the Orioles, but Brent Suter, Lance McCullers, Tom Kohler. That's my top 3. I would throw Vargas in there as a potential option, probably 4, and then I think who was the 5th guy we were on? It was.
McCullers.
No, we said McCullers.
Did you say him?
Said McCullers. It was.
I like Brian Mitchell, the cheapest guy. I think he's worth throw.
That's
I think Odorizzi at 74 is worth the throw as well. That's where I'm at. Mejia, maybe, I don't know, but against the Yanks.
I feel you, man. So I'm with you there. And then the stacks we're looking at: Cubs, Why am I blanking? Cubs, Rays, maybe a little Astros. Or not Astros. Atlanta. I could see some Atlanta bats. I like Cleveland being sneaky, and
St.
then
Louis.
St. Louis. That's who it was. St. Louis was that stack. I love Chicago and St. Louis. Those are my two stacks right now.
Yeah, I'm with you there. St. Louis, yeah. Tampa's up and down. I think you can definitely find some bombs there. There's a lot of one-off potentials. I think you're gonna be able to pay for like JD Martinez, and then you can put Jose Ramirez in your lineup. You know, I mean, I feel like you're just gonna be able to pay up to bat. So maybe an intriguing strategy is to leave money and stay to that upper mid range, because no one else is gonna need to. You know.
100%. You're gonna get one-offs all over tomorrow. You don't even necessarily have to stack. I would stack Cubs, and then you don't have to find a second stack. You can do one-offs. But I personally like to stack two teams. It's just how I roll. So.
See what happens. See what happens with the lineup construction. Haven't really gone in there yet, just because we don't have lineups yet. I'll get back to you guys tomorrow about that. We'll do our lock show.
Yeah. And then okay, I gotta cover this. So we got the house. For those of you who've been watching, we close on Wednesday. I pick up keys Wednesday. So what?
I'm gonna start knocking shit down, huh?
Yep. So Thursday through Sunday, I am demoing, which means I will not be available for a lock show any of those 4 days. I apologize, guys. I hope you understand. But what I am looking for is a little bit of help. Thursday, Mike is going to cover the sheets and update them. Sydney's got Saturday. I'm looking for some help on Friday and Sunday. If you guys are a part of the River Group and you have, obviously you get the sheets, let me know if you can help. I'll give you access to them. All you have to do is update the lineups. Everything else updates automatically. You literally just have to type in the player's name. It would be an amazing help. No pressure, but if you can, I would be more than thankful.
Yeah, as you guys know, obviously I work Friday, Saturday, and Sundays on the ambulance. So, I mean, I maybe could, but I can't commit. So it'd be very much helpful to be able to have someone that help out, updating the lineups.
Yeah, so I appreciate you guys. As always, appreciate you guys tuning in. If you want to subscribe, join the River Group, get access to these sheets. If you're already a part of the River Group, I was talking to a couple guys today. DM me anytime. I was helping a couple guys with how I'm filtering and all that. So I'm always here, man. Like I said, those 4 days are going to be tough, but after that, I'm free. We're good and back on track. And let me know if I can help in any other way. That link is down below. And yeah, we'll take care of you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on the weekends, if you get to me and I don't answer you back, it's because I'm at work. And sometimes I'll even answer back like, "Hey, I'm not really playing much today, so don't have much of." I'm not going to lie to you guys,
Yeah.
If I'm working, I got to do what I got to do, obviously. But yeah, I think tomorrow's gonna be a fun slate. I think I'm excited to get into it. We'll have that lock show for you guys in the group, part of the process here at Fantasy Phenom, funneling the player pool to a winning lineup. That's what we do here. Speaking of winning lineups, segment 6 of the free roll ended with the slate today. So we'll go ahead and show you guys how that ended. Got some updated leaderboards. And then tomorrow, if you guys are new to the free roll, obviously we post the link in the River Group, and it'll start new. Segment 7, leading up to that bracket challenge at the end of this season. So yeah, those are the current qualifiers here. Dirty Naps, 2 segments in a row on FanDuel. But yeah, easiest way to get in is for free in the River Group. Just join, play every day, see where you stand. But yeah, and you'll see the final standings as we roll out here. But I appreciate you guys joining. Hope you guys are having fun. Some friendly competition with these free rolls.
Yeah, and then here is your DraftKings one.
Yeah, so yeah, on the left, those are the current top 20 from day one, and that's the final segment 6 standings. Wig Splitter almost lapped the competition this week, at least this segment.
Yeah. So keep it up, guys. The free rolls are awesome. Appreciate all the support again. Email us if you have any questions if you're not a part of River. Otherwise, hit me up in River and we'll take care of you. So
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Well, have a wonderful night. Make it a profitable Monday. And I'll be back tomorrow about 2 o'clock to do that lock show. Actually, we'll both be back. I forgot Mike's off. So,
I will be there.
all right, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.